It's Tuesday, the 16th day in the month of September. Hello and welcome to this edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. We do hope that your child or children are settling well in this new school term. Remember, establishing a routine that's beneficial for both you and them is key to a successful start. We'll be right back after this quick break.
A happy home is a safe home. Here are some quick tips to keep household chemicals out of the reach of children. Tip 1. Clearly label all chemicals and store them in their original containers to avoid confusion. Tip 2. Use child-proof locks on low cabinets and store all chemicals on high shelves or in locked cabinets. Tip 3. Teach your children about the dangers and importance of safety around these products. Few simple steps can make a big difference. Keep your home safe and keep those little hands out of harm's way.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, September 16, 2025. This year's staging of the Jamaica Product Exchange, JAPEX, will be focused on deepening tourism expansion in emerging markets. That's the word from Director of Tourism Donovan White, who was speaking at a press briefing yesterday. He says that for the greater part of the last 3 years, the Jamaica Tourist Board, JTB, has institutionalized the development of emerging markets as part of its strategy.
Those include Latin America. There are over 17 countries in Latin America that we actively position Jamaica. Those 17 markets in Latin America contribute something like over 600 million in terms of population. So it's a huge market space. And just by those numbers, immediately you realize it's almost twice the population of the United States. So it's a huge marketplace.
Mr. White adds that there is also keen interest in the Indian market, as well as the Gulf Cooperation Council GCC countries of Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates.
JAPEX gives us an opportunity to bring some of the biggest, brightest, and most strategic businesses in tourism out of that space to Jamaica.
JAPEX is the result of a partnership between the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association and the JTB. The trade show is set to commence this Sunday at the Montego Bay Convention Center with a welcome reception at Harmony Beach Park. The Water Resources Authority, WRA, is urging farmers to take a more proactive approach to planning for their water demand by assessing their agricultural needs. The urging comes from Deputy Managing Director at the WRA, Jeffrey Marshall, who was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. He says that given the reality of intermittent periods of low rainfall or drought, it's important for farmers to determine how much water is needed for their crops and store or otherwise ensure access.
WRA will always be there to help giving advice in terms of available water resources on the wider scale. If persons have springs on their property and they want to abstract from the springs or use it, WRA will provide guidance on the process because you need to be licensed to do that.
The WRA is also encouraging the use of best practices for the irrigation of agricultural lands.
From a water resources perspective, all I can say is that the use of best practices for irrigation will help a lot, moving away from flood irrigation if possible, if using drip irrigation, that's something that might be more sustainable, ensuring that whatever water you're using is proper for irrigation usage. If it's purchased from the NIC, then you're gone clear. If you're abstracting from a local source, then make sure that you're licensed for it, that you're not over abstracting.
Meanwhile, the WRA is imploring farmers to use fertilizers safely and responsibly to prevent contamination of water sources. The authority's Deputy Managing Director, Jeffrey Marshall, stresses that proper agricultural practices prevent adverse effects on both ground and surface water.
Ensuring that whatever fertilizer you're using, that there's a plan to collect or to prevent the runoff from going into the environment as far as possible. being careful of the type of pesticides you're using as well.
He's reminding persons to avoid polluting and littering waterways and sinkholes.
When the people will see a sinkhole and they just put everything in there, toss their trash in there, let their sewage water go in there, etc. But those sinkholes are direct conduits into the groundwater below. And so if you do things there, then you're going to see that water come out eventually. That might be a pollution thing. So there has to be proper garbage disposal, proper solid waste and effluent disposal. A lot of people will wash cars in rivers. It's illegal to wash your car in a river. And so it's for all of us to be aware that we are the ones who live in our environment, and when we protect it, it protects us on the long term.
More than 5,000 tablets previously used in Jamaica's 2022 population and housing census have been redistributed to learning facilities across the island under the Tablets in Schools program. The official launch of the redistribution took place on August 27, when 110 tablets were handed over to Crystal House Academy in St. Catherine. The intervention is the result of a collaborative effort by eLearning Jamaica, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, and the Ministry of Education. Chief Executive Officer of eLearning Jamaica, Andrew Lee, says this will go a long way towards ensuring every primary school is outfitted with tablets, laptops, charging carts, and interactive panels as part of advancing digital education and inclusion. Statin's Director General, Leisha Delati-Budair, adds that by donating over 5,500 devices, government is expanding access to ICT equipment that aids learning, supports education equity, and contributes to sustainable development. And finally, Chief Executive Officer of the Police Civilian Oversight Authority, Otara Byfield-Nugent, says the Customer Service Award component of the Transforming Our Police Service TOPS competition has allowed for the participation of citizens within the spaces being inspected. According to Mrs. Byfield-Nugent, through interviews and surveys, community members are exposed to the role of the PCOA and are able to participate in the process of holding officers accountable.
What we have found even now is that they know of the process of how they can come to us and talk about officers who are doing commendable work, issues that they may have with police stations or with officers, and we're now able to navigate that and channel them in a way that they can get their issues and problems resolved. Because by you either giving your commendation or making a complaint, it's you holding an officer, holding a station, or holding a commander accountable for the work they are supposed to do for you as a citizen.
Mrs. Byfield-Nugent was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for staying with us right here on Jamaica Magazine. Let's now take a look back to February, when we explored big dreams and even bigger digital and creative opportunities, as the Ministry of Culture took it to the next level with the Jamaica Creative Career Expo.
These are exciting times to be a creative in Jamaica. The creative economy is alive and kicking, and is already an alternative to traditional sectors which spur gross domestic product.
To make sure the message is fully received by our young people and wider society, the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport staged its 4th annual Jamaica Creative Career Expo at the Jamaica Pegasus in February. The more than 3,000 attendees were given a glimpse of opportunities in the sector and beyond.
Technology is, of course, revolutionizing how we produce, share, monetize, that is to say, make money from music, art, animation, gaming, and of course, digital storytelling.
In the world of gaming, it's so vast, but I started off in the video game retail industry, opened a little store, and it kind of blossomed into what we're doing today. We took up virtual reality and augmented reality in about 2018, and we've been using those technologies to create solutions, not just for the public sector, but for the private sector as well.
I did engineering for 20 years. 20 years. And then no, I am into content creation. No, I am into acting. So I do it at home in my living room. There's a little basement area that I just set out as like that studio. And then at first, when I just started out, I did all the shooting, the creating, the editing, everything. One idea would usually take me about 8 hours from thinking it to creating it. You know, engineering is a very lucrative field. I'm making at least twice what I used to make in engineering. And you know, the sky's the limit for me because I plan to go even further.
Having signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Technology to create alternative pathways for its graduates to enter various university courses, the Hart NSTA Trust booth with its dynamic offerings was among the most popular ones for students.
We will have programs such as graphic technology, animation. We also have coding on display. And these are the programs that are enabling things such as smart spaces, automation, and of course the digital efforts and technology to drive work and to improve productivity right across all the different sectors and the spectrum of the world. We also have today displaying our Vertex 360, which is for welding, and that's called virtual welding. And we are able to show you how you do welding without fire. And this is to develop the different techniques of weld so that the trainees can understand better how to master the craft before they actually go into the physical environment to carry out the work and to develop that mental capacity to execute the different techniques.
He wants to get to learn a lot of things, learn new things, and also he wants to get to try other different technologies that they have here that he tried, like the virtual reality, the robotics, how they work, and a lot of different things.
The overall presentation is really good by Hart Trust NCA and the NCT vet. That is excellent. And so the cybersecurity was very informative because the presenter was showing me that you can use these applications to find out what cybersecurity attacks are taking place right now. And she was also telling me about the offerings at Hart and what levels they're at and how are they free and accessible for students even like me who are not at the tertiary level as yet. So I think that the whole experience is just thrilling and it's really just a paradise for coders who are just beginning, yes.
The main thing that fascinated me today upon entrance is the virtual reality Jamaica. Like, their suite is very, very nice. I went and experienced virtual reality, as stated before, and that was a very surreal experience, you know. Felt very augmented, as it should be, and that was really fun.
Today, wow, exciting. I've been learning a lot of things that in line with my career. I'm thinking that I'm having an idea what the future looks like. It's my first time, and wow, this is really nice. First time at a hotel. I've been learning a lot of things. And then when I go back to school, I'm going to share that information with my friends, my schoolmates, my principal, my vice principal, so that they can get the information for the future.
We're focusing on displaying all the emerging skills that are driving the relevant sectors for development in Jamaica and across the world.
There really is a vibrant world in the creative industries. You can make enough money in the creative industries. Whatever you are going to do, you have to put work behind it, whether it's creative industries or something else. But please know that these areas are there. Know that they're lucrative areas.
Lost receipts can mean big trouble during tax season. The Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ urges businesses to keep these records safe.
Most Jamaicans, from time to time, throw away the receipt. You know, you're doing a business and you bought some stock. But because the quality of each of those receipts fade quickly, they just throw them away. The tax department is advising that you are to keep proper books and records for tax purposes. So if it is going to fade, what do you do first? You would ensure that you either scan it, copy it, and save it in a format that it can be used for future use later on. At least 7 years, the Income Tax Act would put in.
This right here is a common clutter of keys that many of us can all relate to lugging around. But what if I told you that this little mess could cause delays in an emergency? Let's hear what the Jamaica Fire Brigade has to say about how small changes can make a life-saving difference when seconds count.
In an emergency, every second matters, whether it's rushing out the door during a fire, trying to unlock a door to help someone in need, or even just get into your car. Key rings can become more of a hindrance than a help. It's easy to accumulate keychains, gadgets, and trinkets over time, but when you're under pressure, fumbling for the right key can waste precious time. So the Jamaica Fire Brigade is imploring persons to reduce key clutter for quicker, more efficient access, especially in the event of a fire.
There's one very, very grim incident I can recall where we got to a scene and a lady was dead on her veranda grasping a bunch of keys. She just could not get out. There was about 10 keys on the bunch. You don't need to have all those keys that are not being used at home on your house keys. Keep the house keys to a minimum. Once you get there to that lock, you don't have to be going through 10 or more keys and figuring out which is which. Keep it to a minimum.
You can keep them to a minimum by removing unnecessary items like keychains, tags, or mementos that can slow you down. Label your keys. A quick identifier like color-coded keychains or simple tags can make all the difference, especially when you're in a rush.
Try to use the padlocks that use one key open 2 padlocks. And what I do, I keep my external keys by themselves. The internal keys are on a key rack inside my house. So I only keep the keys to enter my house on a particular key ring. And what I do is I use one keys for 2 padlock for the front grill, and I try to use a different grill for the side entrance, one key for 2 padlocks. So I can identify the key easily. You don't want to be shuffling through your keys in an emergency.
These are called key-alike padlocks, also known as same key or suited padlocks. They come in various designs and sizes, from basic models for light-duty use to heavy-duty options for more robust security needs. They are commonly available in both keyed and combination lock versions.
So you can get 2, 3, 4, I think maybe up to 4 padlocks that use the same key. And I know some persons are going to say, what if the key get lost? You have multiple keys. Yes. So what you do is that responsible adult members of the household should have these keys. So in the event that you lose yours, then you can have another one and you can go cut a key off that one.
Remember, when it comes to keys, less really is more. Clear your keyring and clear the paths to a safer, quicker response when it counts. Also, in the event of a fire, it's also important for you to have the emergency numbers on standby.
It is important that you know the number to the nearest fire station because the emergency systems are not operated by the Jamaica Fire Brigade. So when you call 110 or 112, it goes to an operator. That operator will then have to route your call to the nearest fire station. when you call the operator, whether you call the nearest fire station or 110, provide the information that you're asked for. It makes it so much easier for us to know exactly where that fire is.
The National Senior Spelling Bee Finals will take place tomorrow. That's the 17th of September, and we wish all the participants the very best. Last year, Juliet Salmon took home the winning prize. I wonder who will take it this year. As we await the results, here's a look back at last year's event.
Porphyry, gazetteer, rapport, loquacious, sycophancy.
These words and more put our spellers to the test in the 2024 National Senior Spelling Bee Competition. Now in its 20th staging, the competition saw 14 seniors, one from each parish, vying for the title of champion.
Spelling is something that really is about your acuity, but also it is about composure under pressure.
Seniors ages 60 to 83 spelt like they have never done before, making it a remarkable experience.
Remember that every word that you spell, every challenge you face down is a victory. And the victories can be big and the victories can be small. And that's what life is about.
The competition was hosted by the National Council for Senior Citizens in partnership with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. The event formed part of national activities for Senior Citizens Month celebrations in September. This was how it went.
And your word is gargoyles. Gargoyles.
Gargoyles. Gargoyles.
That is correct.
Unguiculate. Unguiculate.
That is correct.
Nephology. Nepholology.
That is correct.
Then there were some words that were just, you'll see what I'm talking about.
And your word is rapprochement.
RAPPROCHMENT, rapprochement.
That is not correct. It is RAPPROCHEMENT. Stephanie Hopkins, your word, idiosyncrasies.
Idiosyncrasies. IDIOSYNCRASES.
Not correct. It's IDIOSYNCRASIES. Galimatius.
GALLIMATIUS.
That's not correct. It is spelled GALIMATIAS.
After several rounds, it was down to the top three who gave it their all.
Kookaburra.
Kookabura.
Juliet. Abattoir.
Abattoir. Abattoir.
Correct. Jennifer. Pirouette.
Pirouette.
That's correct.
Then it was down to the final two, Juliet Salmon from St. Andrew and Jennifer Gordon from St. James. And after spelling several of the words correctly, it came down to that one word which declared the winner.
Jennifer. Chiaroscurist.
I can spell that word. I didn't get a paper with that.
Chiaroscurist. Chiaroscurist. Chiaroscurist.
That is correct. All right, that was well done. Now she gets her word. Appoggiatura. Appoggiatura.
Appoggiatura. Appoggiatura.
That's correct. And we have a winner here. Congratulations to Juliet Salmon, our spelling bee champion for this year. And well done to Jennifer Gordon. Well done. As a matter of fact, well done to all the spellers. But a big congratulations to Juliet Salmon.
Don't forget Michael Jordan, Obama a champion, Mandela a champion, Serena a champion.
We're appealing to the public, please take electronic waste, the handling of it, very seriously. It is not to be played with, and we want especially the children to be kept far as possible from old computers, old laptops, old cell phones, all those electronic waste, because of the dangers that it poses.
And that's it for today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Remember, you can't let your failures define you. Instead, let your failures teach you. Do join us again tomorrow for another informative show. In the meantime, visit our website at gis.gov.jm for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.